If you do not know how to solve compound inequalities or you are not able to write their answers, this video is the only thing you will ever need. By the way, I have made another video about how to solve linear inequalities and I strongly suggest you to watch that video first. I'm gonna put the link of that video in the description.
So Rab explains it all. Math, chem, physics never fall. Subscribe and learn. Ace every test. So Rab explains it best.
As always, we are going to start with the definition of compound inequality. What does it mean when we say we have a compound inequality? Compound inequality is the combination of two or more inequalities that they are connected together with words and or. So you are gonna face one of these words and or. Okay, what does it mean when we say we have or? Whenever you have or, you must solve each inequality separately. Then you must find the union of the ranges. It means you must put the ranges next to each other. And of course, if your answer satisfies just one condition, it would be enough. And whenever you have and, you must find intersection of the ranges. You must find overlap of the ranges, the part which is common between those ranges. And your answer must satisfy all the conditions at the same time. As you definitely know, mathematics cannot be learned by definition, so we are gonna learn that through examples as always. Look at the first two examples that we have here and they are really simple. In the first one, we have a compound inequality. What does it mean? It means we have two inequalities that they are connected together by a word or, right? Okay, this is my first inequality and this is my second inequality. I'm gonna show each one on a number line. This is my number line. I'm gonna assume that this is 0. So this one must be -1, -2, -3, and 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna draw the first range. It says x is less than -2. -2 is not included because here I do not have equal sign, right? So I must show it with a hollow circle, with an open circle. And because it is less than a -2, I must move toward left or negative direction. So this is my first range. And what about the second one? X is greater than 2 or x is greater than or equal to 2 because of this sign. So let's show it. Because I have equal sign, I must fill this circle because of this equal sign. And because it is greater than, I must move toward right. Really simple. If I move all the way to the negative direction or to the left side, it would be -infinity. And if I move all the way to the right side, it would be +infinity or infinity. Now, because of this word, as you can see, it is or. Whenever I have or, I must find the union of the ranges. So let's add ranges. Let's find the union of the ranges. What is the final answer? As you can see, it starts from -infinity. For infinity, I always use parentheses, not bracket, because I do not know the exact number. So -infinity up to what? As you can see, it comes up to -2, right? But here there is an important question. -2 is included or not? As you can see here, I have open circle, hollow circle, right? So -2 is not included. Whenever a number is not included, you must use parentheses. So up to -2 and union, I show that with union of that with another range. What is the second range? As you can see, it starts with 2, but 2 is included because I have filled circle. 2 is included. When a number is included, I must use parentheses. Up to infinity. For infinity, I use parentheses and not bracket. Really simple. Look at the next example. Here I have and. Again, I'm gonna draw a number line. 0 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. x is less than 5 and we do not have equal sign, so I must use open circle. Less than, I must move toward the negative direction. This is my first range. Second range says it is greater than or equal, so I must have a filled circle exactly like this. Greater than, so I must move toward the positive direction. Here I have and not or. Whenever I have and, I must find the overlap. I must find the common part between those two ranges. So, okay, let's find the common part, the overlap, the intersection. As you can see, the common part would be here, right? So let's write it. It starts from 2, but 2 is included or not? Yes, as you can see, 2 is included because here I have closed circle. So I must show it with bracket from 2 up to 5. 5 is included or not? As you can see, 5 cannot be included. Why? Because in the first range, 5 is shown with open circle. So I must use parentheses for the 5. It means it is not included. Look at the next example. Here we have two inequalities that they are connected with the word or. I'm gonna solve each one separately. 4m plus 3 is less than negative 5, so I need to subtract both sides. I need to add both sides by negative 3. If I do that, these two are gonna cancel each other out and I'm gonna have 4m. I'm gonna bring it down. Is less than what? Negative 8. The only thing that I need to do is dividing both sides by 4, and because I'm dividing by a positive number, I should not change the direction of inequality. So what am I going to have? M is less than negative 2. Really easy. Okay, let's solve the next one. I need to add both sides by negative 7. If I do that, these two are gonna cancel each other out and 2m less than or equal to negative 6. Negative 7 plus 1 would be negative 6. Divide both sides by 2 because it is positive. The direction of inequality should not change. So m would be less than or equal to negative 3. Now let's show these ranges on a number line. And by the way, if you solve enough examples, you can skip this part showing on a number line. It's not necessary to do that. This is my number line. This is my 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. The first one, less than negative 2, and negative 2 is not included, so I'm going to use open circle. Second one, it is less than or equal to negative 3, right? So it has equal to, so I must fill this circle because it contains negative 3. And because it is less than, I must move toward the left direction, negative direction. I'm sorry. And this is my answer. Because I have or, I must find the union, right? I must add them. And if you pay attention, you would easily realize that the union of them would be the first range, which starts from negative infinity and it comes to negative 2. And negative 2, should I use parenthesis or bracket? Because negative 2 is not included. I have open circle, it must be parenthesis, right? Really easy. So if I find the union of them, the first range would be the answer. Really easy. Look at the next example. Whenever you see something like this, it means a variable expression is limited between two inequalities. You must know that this is showing and, so I can rewrite that as x plus 2 is greater than negative 3 and x plus 2 is less than or equal to 7. I can rewrite that as this. By the way, there are two methods for solving this example. I'm gonna solve it with those two methods. The first one is solving each one of these inequalities separately. So I'm gonna subtract both sides by -2. X is greater than -5. This is my first range. And again, I'm gonna add both sides by -2. If I do that, X is less than or equal to 5. Let's use a number line. 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the first one says X is greater than -5. Greater than, and if -5 is not included, so open circle, greater than, it means I must move toward the positive direction. So this is gonna be my first range. And the second range says X is less than or equal to 5. Less than or equal, because of the equal sign I must fill this circle. So it would be something like this. Okay, what do I have? Do I have and or? As you can see, I have and here. So I must find the common part, the overlap. So the overlap would be here. Okay, how should I write that? As you can see, this range starts from -5, and -5 is not included, so it would be an open parenthesis because of this hollow circle. And it comes up to 5, but 5 is included, so I must use bracket. Really, really easy. This was the first method, and it is not a good method. I'm gonna teach you how to solve that in one step. So please pay attention to the second method. For using the second method, we are going to solve this compound inequality in one step, and we are not going to separate them. So what should I do? I know that here in the middle variable expression, this 2 is extra. So somehow I need to eliminate that. So I'm going to subtract this with 2, and I must do exactly the same on all the sides. So I'm going to do that with this first side and last side. If I do that, these two are going to cancel each other out. I'm going to bring this down. If I add -3 and -2, I'm going to have -5. And X here, because these two are going to cancel each other out. If I bring this down, I'm going to have 7 -2 would be 5. As you can see, we reached to the same answer, but this time really easier. And if I want to write this answer based on the range, as you can see, it starts with -5, and -5 is not included, so I'm going to use parentheses, and it comes up to 5, and 5 is included because of this equal sign, and I'm going to use a bracket. Really easy. So from now on, we are going to use the second method. It means solving in one step. Look at the next example. Again, it means and, but we do not want to separate that. We are going to solve it in one step. As you can see, this 4 in the middle variable expression is extra, so I need to subtract it, and I must do exactly the same with all the sides. -4, -4. These are going to cancel each other out. If I bring it down, what am I going to have? I'm going to have -9 -3x. I'm going to bring it down. What am I going to have? I'm going to have less than or equal to 12, because 16 -4 is 12. Okay, in the next step, I must divide this, because I want to make the coefficient of x alone. I must divide this by -3, and I must do exactly the same with all the sides. It means first side and last side. But pay attention here. There is really important point. What is that point? Whenever you are dividing by a negative number or multiplying by a negative number, you must change the direction of inequality. So this one would turn to this, and this is gonna turn to this. I change the direction of inequality because I'm multiplying by a negative number. So this is gonna be x minus 9 divided by minus 3 would be 3. And 12 divided by minus 3 would be minus 4. I can draw this answer on a number line, but I think it is not needed. But let's do it anyway. 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. And here 1, 2, 3. As you can see, x is less than 3 and 3 is not included, and it is greater than negative 4, greater than or equal to negative 4. So negative 4 would be a filled circle. So it's gonna be something like this. And if I want to write the answer based on the range, it would be, it starts, as you can see, it starts from negative 4, and negative 4 is included. Why? Because of this equal sign. And as you can see here I have a filled circle. So I'm going to use bracket, negative 4, comma, it comes up to 3, and 3 is not included. So I need to use parentheses because here I have open circle and here I do not have equal sign. Really easy. Here I have OR, so let's solve each one of them separately. I'm gonna subtract this side by 5. I must do exactly the same with the second side. These two are gonna cancel each other out, so 2d is less than, if I add them I'm gonna have negative 6. I must divide both sides by 2 because this 2 is positive, the direction should not change. So d, let me write it here, d is less than negative 3. Really easy. Look at the next example. I need to add it by negative 5, negative 5. If I do that, these two are going to cancel each other out. I'm going to have minus 2d. If I add them, I'm going to have 0. So, in this step, I need to divide this side by negative 2, and I must do exactly the same with the second side. Pay attention, because I am dividing by a negative number, I must change the direction of inequality. So it would turn to this. I change the direction, I flip the direction of inequality. These two are going to cancel each other out. D is greater than or equal to 0, and this is my second range. So let's draw this on a number line. 0, negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3. The first range says d must be less than negative 3, right? And we do not have equal sign, so we use open circle or hollow circle. It would be something like this. And the second range says d must be greater than or equal. I have equal, so I must feel this. It would be something like this, right? And I have or, and as you can see, I have or, so I must use the union. So my answer starts from negative infinity, comes to what? As you can see, it comes to negative 3. But negative 3 is not included because here I have open circle, right? So I'm going to use parentheses, union. It starts from 0, but 0 is included, so I'm going to use bracket, and it goes to up to infinity. For infinity, I'm going to use parentheses. Really easy. And you can show that with positive infinity, it does not matter. Really easy. Here you can find more examples, and I strongly suggest you to solve them at home. If you have any question or if you wanted to share your answer, please feel free and write it in the comment box. I will try to answer them as soon as it was possible for me. Thank you for watching this video.